Hello and welcome back to Hope TV. This is Herson Gonzalez with my girlfriend, Valerie Gonzalez.
That's me.
And we're so happy to celebrate Valentine's today with each other and also with our Hope TV family. So glad you can join us for this very special edition of Hope TV. We have a very exciting show with a whole lot of great topics, one of which is questions that we should ask each other when you're just getting to know, dating people that are getting serious about maybe talking engagement and marriage.
Yeah, I think it's important to talk about these things because we get so caught up in the emotions that are happening that sometimes we forget about those very important details that surprise us in the end. And that's why we have so many divorce rates within the first and second year of marriage. But these things, these conversations can help us avoid some of these things.
And we're also going to talk about what Valentine ought to look like for married couples. You know, married couples need to celebrate Valentine's Day too.
Yeah, we do.
And so we'll talk a little bit about that as well. And a couple of great videos we have prepared for you, so you don't want to go away. But let me bring in our friend Eliud Hidalgo that's back on his regular post behind the safety of his little podium over there.
Yes, this is my sanctuary right here. My sanctuary. And I just want to say, the Patriots lost.
Oh, here we go.
Hey,
Okay.
hey,
Valentine's show.
Mikey,
It's a Valentine's show.
happy Valentine's Day.
It's a Valentine's show.
Well, now that you bring it up, I want to congratulate the Pats for a phenomenal season. Great game. It wasn't for lack of effort. A couple of plays, if we could have executed it, we would have been the Super Bowl champs. I thought we played a pretty good game, and I'm proud of the guys. And the Giants just executed better, and they won. So congratulations to the Giants.
Yep.
Great.
They want it sitting down.
They won it sitting down. That great catch. The great catch.
Yeah. She's talking about the touchdown that they parted the blue sea.
Because he tried to stop and he couldn't.
Yeah. But listen, since this is a Valentine's show, I think it's important right now. There are some men that are going crazy thinking, what am I going to get my girl?
Yep.
You know, and I think we should mention a couple of gifts that will never fail.
Jewelry.
Yes.
Always.
Candy.
Jewelry for a woman, flowers,
Always.
chocolate. Make
Roses.
sure she's not allergic.
Okay, yeah, but you know, things like
Strawberries.
massages. Always
Chocolate-covered
like
massage,
spas
spa, date
or
to
whatever.
spa.
And you know what? If you don't have much money, because not everybody, you know, to
Do it
type
yourself.
around there. When my husband just pulls out those
Magic
hands
fingers.
and brings out that
Magic
wonderful little, you know, lotion and whatever.
Yeah.
It was
He
one of
did
my
the magic
favorite Valentine's Day with my husband was just all he used was strings and construction paper.
Yep.
And when I walked in the house, it was like inundated with just
Because I was
hearts
broke,
or whatever. He
and
was
I
broke.
had to make.
He was broke. But you know why he made it work? Is one of the most memorable. The only ones
Valentine's
that had diamonds in it. But if you don't have diamonds, just look for construction paper and like strings.
We're almost out of time for this segment, but we just said everything for the women. What do you get, guys?
A universal remote control. They know that.
Really?
No.
Either
Diamonds
that,
for you.
Listen,
A universal remote
or
for
they'll
me.
give us Old Spice.
Oh no, don't do that. Don't do that. No, but guys, you tell them, we tell them, we are very clear about what we want, and that the guys want us
Well,
to
it
just
depends on
figure
the
it out.
guys. Some guys wouldn't mind going to a day in the spa. I'm not a big fan of it, but some guys like get pampered.
Although I want to say,
Hey, most guys don't
you've
get
had
gifts.
a manicure and pedicure.
You know what? A friend of
It's
mine
true.
said that to me.
Most guys don't get gifts.
I was talking to a couple on Wednesday, and she was asking him, "What are you going to get me for Valentine's Day?" And he goes, "Well, what are you getting me?" She goes, "I don't buy you anything on Valentine's
See?
Day."
Yeah.
It's
See?
like this.
They
it's
give you a
day for-
card and say, I love you.
Yeah.
And I have to give them a
Hey,
gift.
let's take advantage of this. Those of you watching on Facebook and on YouTube, give us a comment right now. Do you think Valentine's Day should guys get gifts? Because that's something that
to
seems
me-
to be
Yeah,
lacking.
But
Wait,
you
wait.
know, I just want to say that in our relationship, I was the first one to make Valentine's a big deal. I don't know how far you remember because, you know, but I was the first one. To me, it was a big deal. So I made it a big deal. And everybody, but like for Valentine's, we're going to a concert. Who got the tickets? Who made the
Jesus.
plans?
God.
It was not Jesus and it was
The
not
Holy
God.
Spirit.
You know, and it's something that he really, really loves. So, you know, music for us is very important.
But let's be
so-
honest.
Concert tickets, stuff
Can we
like
be
that.
honest, though?
Game tickets.
Let's be honest. I don't get no presents on Valentine's Day. sorry. I'm the present givee.
Yeah.
But I'm not the
The givee.
receiver. And I don't think, really, I don't really think that women think guys should get gifts.
Well, we're going to ask. We're asking,
Well, let
we're
me
asking
just
our
say-
Facebook audience what we want you to quote. Now we got to move on. We got a whole lot of show to go.
Okay.
But that's a good question to post. Please, if you're watching this, take a moment, write to us, let us know. Right on Hope TV on Facebook. Should guys get gifts on Valentine's Day? It's a good question.
And what are some of the suggestions for
Give some
some of the
suggestions.
popular, gifts?
Great.
Flowers.
On the other side of this video, it says Happy Valentine's Day. It's a beautiful little video. On the other side of this video, we'll begin our conversation on those questions that you should be asking. How old are you really? Go ahead. We'll be right back. One of the things that Valerie and I have noticed from doing premarital counseling to actual marital counseling and trying to help people stay together when they get into trouble is how little they knew about each other once they got married. Affections and love and the idea of marriage seems so beautiful, so great, that a lot of people just jump into it. Having been in relationships for sometimes years, they still don't really take the time to have the conversations that sometimes seem taboo. Ask the questions that you're afraid to ask. And so we kind of ask the mom certain ways and we ask a friend to try to get the answer. But there's nothing like going to the source. So today we're going to talk about some questions that might not always be politically correct to straight out ask, but I find that now in this new generation they're a bit more bold. They can send a text or to start a conversation, and they're getting a bit more direct. So hopefully the tips that we give today can help you in your relationship. So let's get to those questions right now. Valerie, what do you think a girl should ask a young man that they're interested in getting to know better? Maybe she's considering he's the one.
Well, if you're at that stage, so you're considering that he's the one, and I think that, even before you get to the considering you're the one, this question needs to be asked. These are the things that actually should determine whether you consider.
That's right.
I think one of them is to ask about future goals. What do they see themselves, in the future? And a lot of times, at that stage, things aren't clear. So I don't think that we can disqualify somebody if they're not fully clear on the picture, because not everybody does.
Just trying to figure it out.
But the fact that they're thinking about the future and they're already projecting says a lot about a man or a woman, that they're not just living for the moment right now, but they're starting to set plans and goals, and that's important.
And one of the things that we found is that when they got into a marriage relationship, the roles of husband and wife were not really defined. They didn't speak about what one ought to do, what one expects a wife should be, how she should, what chores around the house should be wives, or what does she expect for the husband to do? And that really can cause some serious
How
tension.
about- how
And by they, he means us. Because we
about-
didn't really have these conversations.
Yeah, I
even
thought you were
before.
listening. What was
How
that?
about the
Right.
questions, you're together and you're not married yet, but you're planning on marrying. How about family? Because there's some people that don't want to have children. Do we ask these questions? Because then you get into a relationship, and now this person don't want children, the other want children, and it causes a friction.
Yeah, that's
you know?
actually
So
very
I mean, that's a question.
Not only do you want them, but can you?
Can you have
Do
children?
you know anything about your biological
Mm-hmm.
makeup that would prevent you from having children?
But I
Absolutely.
think even more important in this age and time, a question is, do you have any children?
That's true.
'Cause it's
That's true. That's a good question.
People get married,
Good question.
and it's like
And the truth.
people
truth-
not. Hi,
Good
who are
question.
you?
That's a
No,
very
but
good
maybe
question.
grandma and grandpa are raising their kid.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You don't
That's
know.
a good question because not everybody will take care of somebody else's kids, and that's. I mean, I had that in my life. I took care of somebody else's kids,
You're doing it
Yeah.
now.
but
But you don't know,
I
you
treated
can't
them
tell
like
the
they were
difference.
mine
Yeah.
because. But there's not people that would do that.
Yeah. Right.
There's people out there that be like, that ain't mine. I ain't taking care of that. I didn't sign up for this.
Yes.
I was just
You know?
recently having a conversation about a friend of ours who, she got married. She didn't know that she couldn't conceive, and they didn't even know that in their family there was a history of that. But she ended up getting divorced because he
Because-
couldn't live with the fact that he could not have any children, and everything else in the relationship seemed
fine,
perfect.
yeah.
But that one thing, and that relationship, I felt really bad because it wasn't anything that she knew about, that she could control, and there are going to be things out of our control, but the things that we can ask and begin to search ahead of time
yeah.
will help to safeguard our relationships and our marriages.
And another thing is, if you have a prophetic word over you or over your life for a specific ministry, I know that God has called me that I would be an evangelist. I mean, you have to really talk about that because what if she doesn't want to be married to an evangelist,
Yes.
or
Yeah.
he doesn't want to be married to a woman that's going to be traveling, her region or the world,
Yeah.
preaching the gospel. You got to talk about the future goals. What do you want for your life? Does what I want for my life match up with what you want for your life? And that's a very
Good
important
question.
question that you need to ask.
Yeah, no,
Very good question.
definitely. Because when you think about an evangelist, even in that, people get caught up in the, exposure and the traveling and all that stuff. But the
it's not-
details
it's not.
of this type of
It's
living,
not gravy.
Glamorous.
no,
That's
it's
for
not.
sure.
It's not
It's
glamorous.
it's
not.
difficult even if you're not even an evangelist.
And, you know-
and you have somebody that doesn't
church
serve God.
leader, I mean,
it could get into their time. They feel, oh, that's disrupting our time.
That's right. You're always going
you're
to
not
the
with
church.
me.
You're always
You're not.
this,
You're not with me. You're always with them. It gets to that point. And
Part of in relationships, when we are trying to get to know each other, we always try to talk about the good things about one another. But it's important to also talk about the struggles. What are the things that you struggle with? If somebody is called, like we were just giving that example about an evangelist, but is somebody that struggles with relationships with more than one person or something like that, it's important that a woman knows these things, because if my husband's called to be an evangelist, God will change somebody. God will work with that. But then we have to see how it is that we're going to travel, first of all, together, because you ain't going by yourself without
true.
me. And these are things important. Am I called to be there with you all along? Because you got to kind of safeguard, everything. So the struggles of a man or a woman are very important also in determining, because then it tells you we're called as women, we are called to be the helpmates. So if you find out about a struggle of the husband, you're finding out where you're going to have to be stronger for him. It's not, again, to disqualify. But if you really believe that this is the mate that God has brought to your life, then what are the things that we're going to look at? What are the kind of counsel that we're going to seek so that I can be that strong helper for you?
But most people that watch us, they may not be in ministry. So this is just, let's take all that stuff off the table for a second. Even if you're watching and you're not a believer, are you given to drinking? Is it something
Yeah.
that you do? Is your family does alcoholism run in your family? You need to know that.
Good question.
You need to be honest about that. What other things run in your family? I mean, I know that a couple that he is totally reformed. He used to be a drug addict, totally reformed. And by the time they met, he was reformed. But every now and again, that old life would just kind of peek through, and she was oblivious to his past.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
So I think you have to be able to, if you're going to talk about your future, you got to talk about your past.
Yeah.
You got to say, look, I am who I am, and this is what has helped to make me who I am.
And you can't stop with yourself. You have to go back to your family members. What kind of health issues, go from generation to generation that you've seen repeated cycles of, diabetes or, whatever it is, then you can help to adjust, their eating habits, at home.
This sounds real romantic for Valentine's Day, doesn't it?
Really,
do you have diabetes?
Yes. But these are, we're not just talking about Valentine's Day. We're talking about what Valentine's Day celebrates.
Yeah.
It celebrates a good, healthy relation. People in love.
Yes.
People who want the best for one another. And if we want the best for one another, we have to bypass not just, run through all the emotions. We want the emotions in it, but we also want to safeguard, the relationship.
I want to just throw a little caveat in there that if you're going to have these conversations, don't make the mistake of making it one conversation and that's it. This is going to be a continuous conversation that you should engage in. We've found that people release truth in bite-sized servings. Most people are only really comfortable with giving just a little bit of truth, and it takes time to really get to know who someone is, especially folks that are dating. Bad news. Bad news is the person that you think he or she is, that might not all that they are. There's more to them.
They
I promise
present
you.
their best face.
Absolutely, and we expect that.
But you can grow. The point of that is getting to know each other, your good and your bad, so you help each other, and it helps you grow.
Absolutely.
And it builds the relationship to be stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think when things are going so well, and in a relationship things feel so right, it's always scary to bring up some of these things, because you don't want to ruin it. You don't want to ruin the moment, but you have to have a longer term, vision than just
talk
today.
about it. You have to talk about it. Talk about finances. What do you have saved? Do you have any savings?
Yeah.
Do you have any projections for what career you're going to have and what kind of lifestyle are we going to be able to live together in our 20s and in our 30s? Look at projections. Talk about health and finance. That's an important part of where you're going to be in the future.
I mean, we get married thinking, well, I'm going to get married, I'm going to get a house, I'm going to have kids. And if you're dating somebody that can't afford to take you to Dunkin' Donuts and they're, and they're like 30-something years old and they only have a part-time job and they don't want to do anything else, then
they want to work. They want to work.
Then you might not get your house.
Yeah, they want to work at Best Buy because they get a great discount on games. I mean, that says a lot about somebody. And sure, they might be in their teens or their early 20s, but it says something about their get up and go may have got up and went. But we also want to look at religion.
Yeah.
What role does God play in your life? Because if it's important to me, then I better care about what her view on God is. Will she accept my moral code as her moral code? Will he accept that if I'm a Christian, I don't want to have sex before I get married?
Yeah.
And that's something that I'm not willing to compromise on.
Yeah. Our take on religion is very similar to our take on love. However we respond to religion, because religion is the closest thing that we have to something so passionate that we feel as passionate about.
Oh, yeah.
So if somebody is very, I believe in God, but I don't really care about, all the things, then they might love you but not really care about all the rules or the things about, love. And the same thing, we need to really pay attention to how committed really, if they say they're committed to God, how committed are you really?
Yeah.
You know, how do you see religion in your life, and do we share the same views?
Yeah, it comes down to love and understanding what love is. Love is a lot more than an emotion. Watch this video that it'll get into a little bit more about what love is, and we'll be back on the other side of this to talk a little bit more. Thanks a lot. We'll be right back. As you see, love is a lot more than just an emotion. And one of the things that I like to tell people is the love that you feel inside is for you. How you let that love drive you, as far as what actions you produce, that's what's for everybody else. The love I feel for me is great. She makes me feel awesome inside. Oh, I love it. But that means nothing to her. The only benefit she gets out of my love for her is how I allow my love to navigate me, to drive me forward, and what actions, because actions, the actions of love are far more powerful than the words "I love you."
And always, one action doesn't automatically produce another. An action can be an investment. You can invest and teach through your actions the other person how to love better. It doesn't always bring a result quickly. You know, we have to take the time to nurture, you know, our actions. And many times we put all this work into a relationship and then we just say, oh, forget it. You know, we're just going to walk away from this. But you just invested all this time, all this effort, you know, and you see it in somebody else that probably has, you know, the blossomed, you know, things that you want in your life, but that's because somebody else nurtured it. Somebody else took time to allow it to grow, and really that doesn't belong to you. What you have, if you complete the task, it will be yours, and you have grown it from a very small seed. You have been able to grow it into a full blossom, you know, beautiful bouquet.
For married folks, Valentine's Day sometimes takes a lesser meaning, and I hope that wouldn't be true for you. I hope that you are still willing to celebrate and invest in one another, especially when you're married, especially when you have children. Teach your children through your example what love and how your love should be celebrated. Because if you don't take time to celebrate your love, other people won't respect your love, and they'll live on top of it, and they'll make you compromise over your own relationship.
Yeah, and some people feel bad and guilty, you know, about the kids and whatever. But our kids actually get really excited whenever we say we're going on a date. our kids are like, Mom and Dad are going on a date.
And we were coming
get
here.
so excited.
And we were coming here, and our daughter, are you guys going on a date? And we said, no, we're going to do Hope TV. She says, well, I'm just going to think you guys are going on a date.
Yeah.
That's what she said before we got here. Because she likes the idea of celebrating our love. We're married. We've been married for, going to be 15 years this year. I almost said 13.
Actually, I had to think about it. No, it's going to be 15.
But that's true. That's definitely
you
true.
got to be able to celebrate, especially as a married couple. Enjoy one another. Go out, do things, and remember to always give in to what is best for the relationship, not what's best for you.
Yeah.
Think about that, and let that be that motivational thing. You know, when you got something that you want, but it's not best for the relationship, or maybe you'll get it another time. But what's best for the relationship? And I'll tell you, it's never going to hurt you to celebrate your love, ever. It's not going to hurt you.
Yeah.
Even if you're recovering from an infidelity, even if you're recovering from some type of break in trust, it's never gonna really hurt you to celebrate your love and to watch everybody else, to see all the commercials, and then for that day to come and not even a card, not even a cake or a brownie, you know.
Or recognition. Sometimes, you know, you don't even get a Happy Valentine's Day, or it's just another average, you know, and some people, you know, they go into the whole, well, I don't believe in the whole Cupid kind of thing or whatever, but it's not about Cupid, it's about you, and it's about him or her. And when you guys are, anything, I celebrate anything that will bring us to, whatever holiday would bring us to celebrate something that needs to be celebrated, especially on a daily basis. But we get so caught up in life that we forget to celebrate it. And Valentine's Day is one of those things that will bring us to remind us that, you know what, this is something that important that we should celebrate.
Love.
We'll close with this final thought. There is no one that'll love you better than Jesus. His love is the most pure, the most undefiled, the most perfect. He knows what you want, he knows what you need, and he has the power to give it to you. This Valentine's Day, don't just make it about your couple. Consider God. Consider all that he's done for you. Consider that he loved you so much that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever would believe in him would not perish but have everlasting life. Take time this Valentine's Day to celebrate your love for Christ. Wear it on your sleeve. Tell other people about it. Be proud of your relationship with God. Be proud to be a Christian.
Yeah,
and let other people see it.
Is the one thing that you can give one another. That gift of faith and that gift of Jesus, you know, in your relationship is the best chance that your marriage has for a successful marriage. Whatever stage of your relationship is in, if you incorporate Jesus Christ, the giver of life, the giver of love, into your relationship, I guarantee you success.
Well, once again, happy Valentine's Day from Valerie, myself, Aliut, and the entire folks, all the folks here that work so hard to make Hope TV happen. We thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you again next week. Bye-bye. God bless you.
Bye. Happy Valentine's.
Happy Valentine.